Jamaica Inn, Spirits of Smugglers and Lost Souls. Jamaica Inn was originally built as a resting place for wary travellers and a storage point for goods, both legitimate and illicit. By the early 1800s, the inn had gained a reputation as a base for smugglers who worked along Cornwall's rugged coast, bringing contraband goods inland under the cover of darkness. This shadowy trade, often violent, would forever leave its mark on the inn and its atmosphere. Daphne du Maurier immortalized Jamaica Inn in her famous 1936 novel of the same name, bringing its dark history and haunting reputation to public attention. And while her novel was fiction, the real Jamaica Inn has seen enough strange and tragic events to earn a reputation as one of the most haunted inns in England. One of the most famous spirits at Jamaica Inn is that of a ghostly smuggler. Local legend holds that this smuggler was involved in a dispute with fellow smugglers during a night of heavy drinking. After leaving the inn in a rage, he vanished into the fog-covered moors, only for his body to be found lifeless the next morning. His death was ruled suspicious, but no one was ever charged, and his spirit is said to wander Jamaica Inn to this day, eternally searching for answers, or perhaps for vengeance. The smuggler's ghost is often seen in the inn's main bar, where he appears as a shadowy figure sitting alone in the corner. Many guests have reported feeling a heavy, almost menacing presence as they sit at the bar, with some even seeing a dark figure out of the corner of their eye, only for it to disappear the moment they turn their head. Staff and patrons alike have reported cold drafts and sudden drops in temperature in this area, even on otherwise warm days. Some say they hear faint murmurs as if the smuggler is quietly speaking to himself, repeating the events of that fateful night over and over. One of the eeriest stories tied to Jamaica Inn is that of the phantom coach. In the dead of night, guests sometimes hear the unmistakable sound of horses' hooves clattering on cobblestone and the distinct rumble of carriage wheels approaching the inn. However, when anyone goes to investigate, there is nothing there. According to legend, this spectral coach actually is driven by a ghostly coachman who once frequented the inn to transport smuggled goods. After a violent clash with authorities, the coachman disappeared, and it's said his spirit still drives the phantom carriage, eternally attempting to finish his last journey. People who have heard the coach describe an overwhelming feeling of anticipation, followed by a chill as the sounds gradually fade away into the moorland night. Some guests have claimed to glimpse fleeting shadows of a horse and carriage in the midst, only for them to dissolve moments later. The sound of the phantom coach is often accompanied by a strange oppressive silence in its wake, as though the moors themselves are holding their breath. Room 5 at Jamaica Inn has gained particular notoriety among guests. Many who have stayed in this room report waking up in the middle of the night to a heavy, almost suffocating feeling, as if someone unseen is watching them. Some describe the sensation of an invisible weight pressing down on their chest, making it difficult to breathe or move. A few have even seen the faint outline of a man standing at the foot of the bed, dressed in old-fashioned attire, silently watching them until he vanishes. Guests have also reported hearing the sound of footsteps pacing back and forth outside the door when no one is in the hallway. The ghost in room 5 is thought to be the spirit of a former innkeeper, or perhaps another smuggler who met a violent end. Whatever his identity, he seems bound to this room, unable to leave, and his restless spirit leaves a strong impression on those who spend the night there. One of the most tragic figures said to haunt Jamaica Inn is the woman in white. According to legend, she was the wife of a smuggler who disappeared on one of his trips across the moor. After waiting for days with no word, she ventured out into the night to search for him, but was caught in a sudden storm and succumbed to exposure on the moors. Her ghost is often seen walking near the inn or wandering along the edge of the moors, her white dress billowing in the wind, her expression filled with longing and loss. Visitors who have encountered the woman in white describe an overwhelming sadness that accompanies her presence, as if they can feel her grief. She often appears as a pale, wispy figure who moves soundlessly through the mist, sometimes vanishing into the landscape. Some have even heard a faint, mournful wail carried on with the wind, believed to be her voice calling out for her lost love. Throughout Jamaica Inn, there are frequent reports of disembodied voices in empty rooms. Guests often hear hushed conversations, laughter, or snippets of angry words in old Cornish accents. These voices are especially common in the Smugglers Museum, where artifacts from Cornwall's smuggling past are on display. Some believe these voices are echoes of the inn's past, visitors, smuggling gangs, and patrons plotting their next move or sharing secrets by candlelight. In the dining area, footsteps are often heard pacing back and forth, sometimes accompanied by the distinct smell of pipe smoke, a reminder of the inn's 18th century patrons who would spend hours drinking and smoking by the fire. These sounds and scents vanish as quickly as they appear, leaving guests wondering if they truly experienced something supernatural or simply got caught up in the inn's dark atmosphere. Surrounded by the isolation of Bodmin Moor, Jamaica Inn remains steeped in mystery. Its location on the bleak, fog covered moors only adds to the sense that the spirits of the past are very much alive here. The moor has long been associated with legends of ghostly apparitions, spectral animals, and strange lights, and the inn seems to be the focal point of these energies. Jamaica Inn today offers ghost tours and paranormal experiences, allowing visitors to explore its haunted history firsthand. Those brave enough to spend the night often leave with stories of their own, ranging from unexplained noises and shadows to full bodied apparitions that disappear into thin air. For those who seek a glimpse into Cornwall's dark and dangerous past, Jamaica Inn is more than just a historical site. It's a place where the spirits of the Moor and the ghosts of the smugglers seem forever entwined, bound to its walls by secrets, sins, and stories that refuse to fade with time.